Big power right down goes Magny in his home country on his biggest stage.
Santiago Ponzinibbio is one of MMA's true trailblazers. Born in 1986 in La Plata, Argentina, a country that had no pedigree or genuine interest in the sport, he grew up watching Pride Fighting Championship. He tried to emulate what he saw in a city with no mixed martial arts gyms. After training boxing, kickboxing, and wrestling individually wherever he could, he took an unofficial holiday to Florianopolis, Brazil, where MMA was already enormous, and never went back. Living in a tent on the beach for 5 months, he finally began to train in the sport he loved thoroughly, and the results were swift and impressive. Between 2008 and 2012, the Argentine Dagger compiled a professional record of 18 wins and 1 loss in the regional South American scene, racking up 16 stoppages en route and earning a reputation as both an entertaining fighter and vicious finisher. This made him first a tryout, and then a full spot on the 2nd season of The Ultimate Fighter's foray into Brazil, an opportunity he took full advantage of. Ponzinibbio won the show's 4 fights, earning the Knockout of the Season and Fight of the Season bonuses. Unfortunately, he was forced to withdraw from the finale after breaking his hand in his semi-final victory over Leo Santos, and this wouldn't be the last time that injury would strike at just the wrong time for him. Still, he had impressed the UFC brass sufficiently to earn an entire contract, and he made his debut against Ryan LaFleur on the undercard of the rematch between Vitor Belfort and Dan Henderson. Despite losing a unanimous decision, he had done enough to warrant another chance. He made the most of it with back-to-back victories over Wendell Oliveira and then the current middleweight contender Sean Strickland. This win has aged very well. Around this time, he decided to take another step to fulfill his full potential. He moved to Coconut Creek, Florida, to train full-time at American Top Team, one of MMA's highest-profile gyms and home to stars like Dustin Poirier, Jorge Masvidal, Amanda Nunes, and many more. He got off to a rough start, being stopped by the hugely talented Lorenz Larkin in a Fight of the Night show. From there, though, Ponzinibbio found his groove and started to establish himself as a real dark horse in the welterweight division, rattling off 7 straight victories between 2015 and 2018 over such divisional staples as Gunnar Nelson, Mike Perry, and most rewardingly of all, a one-punch knockout of Neil Magny in Buenos Aires in the main event of the UFC's first-ever event in Argentina. It was here, though, as Ponzinibbio seemed set to make a real run at the welterweight title, that disaster struck. A bacterial infection first spread to his blood, resulting in hospitalization for 3 months and later to his bone, a potentially life-threatening illness. With doctors struggling to isolate and solve the issue, he was told there was a real possibility that he would never be able to fight again. This was never a possibility that he entertained, though. Although it took almost 2 years, he did finally receive a clean bill of health, making his return in January 2021 against Li Jingliang. Somewhat understandably, after such a long layoff, he looked a little rusty and was stopped by strikes at the end of the first round. But where lesser individuals may have used this as an opportunity to call time on their career, Ponzinibbio again refused to give up, and instead took a risky fight against young prospect Miguel Baeza. After a challenging first round in which Baeza chewed up his lead leg with brutal low kicks, Santiago began to work his way back into the fight with relentless pressure and volume that turned the momentum his way, eventually winning a unanimous decision that landed both men the Fight of the Night bonus. Asked by Michael Bisping how badly the low kicks had troubled him, Santiago responded that they were nothing compared to what he had survived in his injury problems. "Man, I almost died. You think I'm bothered about the kicks?" Having re-established himself as a contender, he went on to face first Jeff Neal and then Michel Pereira, dropping competitive split decisions to both. He was then slated to fight with the great Robbie Lawler at UFC 282. Still, with Lawler dropping out late due to injury, he instead took on Alex Morono. He again refused to quit on himself, knocking Morono out in the 3rd round despite being dropped in each of the first 2. Now the pioneer of Argentine MMA faces another trailblazer, fan favorite Kevin Holland at UFC 287. This looks like a tough stylistic matchup for Ponzinibbio, now 36 years old, against another young contender. While both men are strikers, Santiago often shows defensive frailties, especially with his hand position in the pocket, which has led to Li Jingliang finishing him with a nasty counterhook and Morono hurting him badly with a counter overhand. He also struggles to pick up when people close distance quickly, which Holland has displayed a real talent for in his KO victories over Joaquin Buckley and Alex Cowboy Oliveira. And despite being a big welterweight himself, Ponzinibbio's reliance on working behind his jab has often led to issues when closing the distance on taller opponents, notably in the Baeza and Neal fights. Holland is 3 inches taller and will have an 8-inch reach advantage. But Ponzinibbio is a tough man to count out. Quite apart from the fact that 22 of his 29 career victories have come by stoppage, and that he has time and time again shown a complete and utter refusal to go quietly into that good night. He made it to the top of a sport that didn't exist in his country when he was growing up. Regardless of the result, Santiago Ponzinibbio is a man that deserves the full respect of any real mixed martial arts fan.